The best thing of having a horse is, of course, having a horse. The worst thing is saying goodbye to your horse. And saying goodbye can go in different ways. You can sell him, you can decide to sell him, have to sell him, depending on your circumstances, whatever you choose. But your horse can also die. And today I would like to talk a little bit about that subject because it's very dear to my heart. I've been through it twice, and it's a part of being a horse owner, an animal owner. We outlive our pets and horses usually, and that is very hard and sad. So the first time I went through that, my horse was 21 years old. His name is Sholto, and I knew him from birth. So we had a really, really long history together. But back in the day, I thought 21 is already old, and I was like, um, okay with that. I did the most of the morning process before I decided to euthanize him. So after that, I felt a big relief because I was already worrying and I was thinking about it, about all possibilities for over a year. And I extended and extended and extended making the decision. Um, with my second horse, Kira, she was only 12 years old. I knew her from when she was one, so we had been together for 11 years. I clicker trained her. She was my first fully clicker trained horse. I tamed her. She was born in a nature reserve. We have been also going through so much. And start of this year, end of, yeah, last year, like in December, she got issues with this, and then she got another issue and another issue, all minor, minor, minor. But it was horrible because she was struggling, and like she got a little fever that everybody got, like the virus. She got an injury on her leg, which didn't really heal, but then it healed finally, so I couldn't ride. Then she got an infection, like influenza kind, so I couldn't ride or train her. Then she got something else, then she got something else, then she got a worm infection. It was like I've been struggling for a long time. Then finally she got hurt on two hind legs. I don't want to go into that right now, but it was struggle for about 6 weeks. There was a second opinion. The second opinion, the vet said, I don't know what the prognosis is because we did x-rays, we did everything. It was really bad, the thing that she had with her leg. The second opinion didn't know either. There was a third opinion, and while we were waiting, my horse Kira, she was in so much pain, and we talked about like an operation, but the operation would mean that half or more of her hoof would be taken away. So that healing process of taking half of the hoof wand away, and before that grows back. That means 6 to 12 months stall rest. She was born in the wild. I always try to keep her as much as possible in group housing, as much as possible outside. She doesn't do well in a stable. It was such a hard decision. There was many, many aspects that I thought about that all played a role, but especially the healing process would be so long and so painful, and mentally as well as physically so demanding, also for me mentally, but more for her. She would probably go through maybe even more pain and more hassle, and there was not even a guarantee. So I had to let it go. It was a good decision. I stand 100% behind it, but was a very hard decision because it was a decision made for her best interest, and I really, really miss her. And maybe you have gone through something like that you had to decide to euthanize your horse, or maybe you weren't even so lucky that you could have time or make a decision, but it was made for you because it was an emergency. So how do you deal with that tremendous loss? What I've done, and what I've done with my first pony, is I took pictures. I took pictures of my horse his last day and also after he was euthanized, because I wanted to be sure that I had kind of visual proof that I wouldn't forget or something. And my first pony, I didn't really look much after at the pictures. With Kira, I didn't do that either. A week ago, so this was in March, it's now June. So a week ago, I stumbled upon her pictures on my phone, which was like very hard. And I went from recent to further back. So first I got a picture of her laying there after the euthanasia, and then I got a picture where she was still alive, and a video where she was still alive. That was also very weird. But for me, it helps to make pictures of the horse when he's dead. Not that you hang them on your wall or anything, but sometimes you need to realize how bad it was. I make pictures of the condition of her hoof. So when I was like flipping through those pictures on my phone, I saw the condition of her hoof. Her frog had bursted open, and I remembered that horrible necrotic smell that came from it. And then I realized, yes, it was the best decision. So yeah, more than one friend recommended, like, share that. I don't believe there's many people talking about what do you do, how do you move on. So I would like to tell you and take you through the mourning process about what happens if you lose your horse, how you can deal with it, how I deal with it, and hopefully if you have gone through a similar process or you lost your horse for one reason or another, stay with me, connect with me, because it's good to talk about. And not many people, if I found that not many people really understand, and that it takes longer than just a few weeks to get over it. And it's good to talk about it because it was your friend. Kira was my friend, and I had to let her go. I still believe it's the best decision, and before I got her, I already knew this day would come. You hope it will never come, but that is part of being a horse owner. You have to make those difficult decisions, either selling or euthanasia or whatever way you have to say goodbye to your horse. And I think it's good to talk about it. So I would love to hear your story. What do you do to go through this process? Because if you talk about it, you can help other people that are going through similar issues. For me, to make the decision wasn't the hardest part. It was only after when I discovered almost that she's not there, that I've been training her for almost every day. I was always teaching her something, and suddenly I fell in a hole. So what I did is I picked up gardening. I have a beautiful garden this year, and I will get another horse in time. So that's what I did. So 2 tips that helped me was make pictures when your horse is passed away. Um, you don't have to look at them ever, but if you have them, it can really help you. That's what my friend told me, advised me with when I had to let my first pony go. She said, I made pictures. It sounds morbid and weird, but it helped me. And I did that because it was a way to process. I talk another time about the beautiful goodbyes that I had with both of my horses. That's a story for another time. But yeah, making pictures of the deceased body helped me. And also think about how you're going to fill that time of day, because you probably spend 1 or 2 or maybe more hours a day with your horse, with your friend. How are you going to fill in that time gap? It's good to think about that. You don't have to have an answer right away, but it's painful, it's hard to think about it, but it's also good to think about it. So what I did is I picked up gardening. I decided to leave the vegetables for what it is, because that didn't go well last year. So I decided, in honor to honor my horse, is I'm going to plant flowers, 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 so many flowers. So this year my garden will be full of flowers, and that's my tribute to my deceased horse, Kira. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your story. I think it's good to connect and talk about these sensible topics. Happy horse training. Bye.